these things work really in your professional career is because I have a very good experience about how things work in the real market. And at the same time, I share the same, use case, same mindset of what a student thinks when he is kind of, trying to get an internship or he's trying to get a certificate of internship. Most of us kind of fall in the trap of certificate of internship rather than focusing on real internships. So that's why I'm the right person, because I share both worlds, right? I'm from industry as well. Like, I have worked there for some time, and I'm also from the student side. So I can tell you like what goes in and how can you get most out of the internships. So this is some of my work which I've been doing for last 2 years. One of the most notable one is about presenting a paper at Neural IPS, which was when I was working with Google Crowdsource. I worked with them for 2 years for community building, and yeah. So in that 2 year span, I learned a lot of things. Again, it was not an internship kind of scenario, but yeah, it was more like that, where we were handling everything from end to end. So I'll share my journey as well. Okay, so now this is the map of India. Obviously, you know that, and the problem with like the problem with companies and students in India is that if you kind of match the level of education which you kind of get here to the international standards, okay, now they both are in a very different direction, okay, where we focus on a lot of writing work, we focus on a lot of kind of like assignments and then exams and then give importance to them. Rather than that, if you see the foreign universities, they are mostly focused on research papers, and hence most of them kind of get a lot of patents, and they are able to kind of crack, they are able to kind of explore more, or kind of develop innovative solutions, because from an early age the perception is that we need to do research, we need to write paper, we need to kind of innovate, and that's how you grow up. And then once you are into high school, you kind of realize that I need to kind of do something. And that's why if you see most of the IT companies which are kind of founded there, it is most of the people have found it in very early age, because they understood how technology works, and then they understood like, okay, if you do this, this is how business works, and then they kind of incorporated it. But it totally works different with Indian students. And at the same time, if you see the amount of engineers graduating every year is massive with the amount of demand which we have. Okay, so it's like it becomes so it's totally opposite. If you see in USA, by 2022, USA will have like more than I guess 30 million jobs, which is in IT, information technology, like CS related jobs. Okay, but they will have only like 3 million engineers. So you can see like there are 17 million gap, like so huge gap, right? So they don't have people to employ within their own country. And at the same time, if you see India, we have like always our demand and like supply always surpasses by 3x or 4x, because of the number of people who are graduating every day and the quality of engineers which are getting out. Okay, so it's just like you are paying like 4 lakh rupees to an institute, and you are spending your 4 years and learning nothing and then graduating. So yeah, that's how it works in most of the colleges, like affiliated to any university. Apart from, there are some exceptional colleges, yes, but again there are some exceptional students as well. So yeah, that's how it works. So that's why like why we are discussing this is because that's where the exploitation parts come in. Okay, and that's where people kind of kind of abuse people, like companies, that we are not getting internships. If we are getting internship, they kind of tell me to do XYZ work which is not in my portfolio, or I'm not given the proper kind of a respect at a company, or XYZ factors as an intern. Okay, and that's one of the reasons like of how the whole ecosystem works. So I'll shed some light on each aspect. I will show you how can you get amazing internships as well, and why to do it, why to just skip it if you don't want to do it, and what are the options you have. So language is one of the major problems again. I have seen a lot of students from South. They are when they apply for internships in North and Northeast part, language becomes a barrier to them. Like they speak broken English, at the same time they are not able to kind of communicate properly. So they know a lot of stuff. So I have been to Kerala like 15 to 16 times in last 2 years, and they are like brilliant people. Okay, but at the same time, if you tell them to give an interview, they will like kind of shy out most of the times. At the same time, this is not the problem of South. This is like generally across the India, and it is because of the diversity of people, like diversity of languages we speak. And it should not be a problem. Like if you like think of an ideal world, like ideal world, you don't need to learn an extra language of like you don't need to, because in ideal world we believe that technology should solve that problem irrespective of what you speak, what you do. Okay, but the world is not ideal. So again, you might be thinking that, okay, if I don't know this language, I might you might not get the job, and that's totally right. Okay, so you should know English to a level in which you can actually express yourself and express your work. That's totally fine. Apart from that, if you don't know English, that's fine. But again, you should know something like onto that level, so that you can express yourself in that way. Okay, that is also like applicable when you're working with remote jobs and many more different scenarios, because skill set is like one aspect and then communication is another aspect, and then you need to be master. It works either ways, that 50-50, or you are a master at one and then completely new by the other. So that scenario it works as well. But again, most of us are not in that sense, like our technology is not so strong, or our language is not so strong, so it kind of tumbles down. So yeah, so now let's come back to the problem which I told you when we started the conversation about so many people, and like about how many engineers we have, and like the number of jobs, or the number of unemployed people who are there in in the current scenario in the market. So this is a analysis of a social media. Like this is a Big Boss show, and this is Twitter on the left hand side, and you can see the number of tweets getting off for a person, and that's like 1.4 million tweets, 1.2 million tweets, and I'm not a big fan of like TikTok, like big fan of Big Boss or TikTok, but at the same time, the numbers fascinates me because it's so many number of people who are actually kind of going out there and tweeting about it. Okay, or making videos or becoming content creators. Okay, and they're kind of finding their own way. So yeah, this is how it works in India. Okay, at the same time, when I talk about TikTok, it is an application which makes a rickshawala a content creator, or a truck driver a content creator. Okay, so these guys out all here, okay, they are not kind of you cannot imagine like how they kind of survive every day. They are like daily wages worker, so they will earn for their day and they will eat that. Okay, but if you see them on TikTok, they are like content creators. They are creating videos. They are kind of using that audio and then creating content, and they're quite popular. We know few of the viral videos. So again, this can act as a platform if you are kind of you have no skill set. Let's assume that you have no skill set, but you want to do something. Platforms like this, Instagram, again, everyone is a model on Instagram, everyone is a cook on Instagram, everyone is a photographer on Instagram, everyone is an influencer on Instagram. Okay, that works with TikTok, that works with YouTube, that works with other social platforms. So this is one of the options which you can actually have. Like obviously people will say a lot of things, but again, if you kind of keep hearing them, then it won't like be good in a long run. So if people say that TikTok is bad, it's not actually bad. It's a platform which is like building. If you see the growth of TikTok, I will show you in the next graph. Like it is growing like this. Okay, so imagine next year how much that will grow, and there is no restriction on top of that. So you can if you're on platform as of now, this is the very right time to be on the platform. Okay, so we talked about someone who has no skill set. Okay, moving forward. Okay, The second thing, the buzz about technology, the buzz about artificial intelligence, the buzz about machine learning, the buzz about blockchain, cryptocurrencies, well, you name few, okay, quantum computing, and many more, okay. So the buzz about latest technology, that we should know all this technology, is like, if you go to a company and ask them like, I know all this stuff, they won't hire you, okay. The reason is that you need to be master of one, or you need to understand how can you apply these technologies into real world application, which most of the students don't know. And even when you're seeking an internship, you should know what problem you are going to solve in that organization. Because if you don't know that, okay, this is the problem which I'm going to solve in that organization, or this is the work, this is the kind of work I'm going to do, then again it makes no sense for them to hire you, or again it makes no sense for you to work for them, because you don't have a clear vision, or they don't have a clear vision, okay. So technology plays a very very important role of what to learn, okay. So don't learn. I when someone comes and tells me, Ali, I'm in first year of engineering and I want to do machine learning, I'm like, dude, don't do machine learning in first year of engineering, okay. Learn software development, how software actually works. He doesn't know, he doesn't know ABC of cloud, he doesn't know how cloud works, how website work, okay. He doesn't know ABC of DNS, and he wants to learn machine learning, okay. That's crazy. So that's most of the problems with students. They want to learn trending technologies, but they don't know the real software development. They don't know how to make an application, they don't know how to make web application, they don't know where this ML system is going to fit in that application. They're like, okay, our data is available on Kaggle, so let's put up some data sets, finished project bana liya, cat and dog classification ho gaya, you know 5 to 6 projects, and now I am a machine learning expert. It doesn't work that way, okay. So you need to be very sure about your tech stack. You need to kind of like build up step by step something, okay. So that's one of the things which I wanted to note it down. Now, you might be seeing a lot of demand in, or a lot of promotion or marketing about Google Assistant or Alexa or Siri or Cortana or Samsung's Bixby. And why is it so? Because the world is moving towards AI first or voice first, we say. Like as Google last year and last year also, Google announced massive efforts to kind of club in or bring in voice into into systems where people can actually interact with their voice. And this is to some extent to solve the problem of language barrier, because if I speak Hindi, right, Hindi has different dialects: Rangpuri, Rangbhashi, Rangdeli. Now these are dialects of Hindi, but you don't know. I believe like most of you might not know, okay. But again, if I talk about keyboards, you have to make 4 different types of keyboards. But again, if you are making a model, machine learning model, you'll have to just make one model which will actually kind of identify all these 4 languages. So that's why the world is moving towards voice first and AI first. And then you can see a good opportunity here to develop yourself or develop systems which can be used in this kind of use cases. Okay. So yeah. So coming back to some of the amazing applications available out there, from top 100, top 44 are Chinese applications. And if you use any of these, again, you know that it's a Chinese application, okay. And if you see in 2017, there were only 19 top Chinese apps available on the Play Store, and from 19 to 44 within 1 year, and that's a massive growth. And this is data of 2017 and 2018. Now why I'm sharing this is because China understands, the developers in China understands that Indians are growing, they are coming on internet, they are exploring internet, they are kind of ruling internet on Twitter, like all different social media, you name them, and it's happening out there. So they are going to kind of be they have 2 GB of data per day, so they are going to utilize a lot of applications. And I see fewer than or none of the people working in Android field. Like they are like they don't like developing applications, or they are like Flutter, use Flutter, or modern technologies, instead of learning the underlying infrastructure of how things actually work. So that's also my criticism about students to a very good extent, that you understand the trend. If you don't understand the trend across the world, then learning anything won't help you. Simple as that. So this was a trend in 2018 and 2019 that apps are rising and people are using applications. They prefer that because they are like, just go into an app and then you get all the features out there and then it works. Simple as that. Byju's, okay, works. They actually bought education to the app. So yeah, that's how it works. Again, opportunities kind of get into 50% when you have a lot of population. So yeah, that's it. So let's talk about some real problems. Okay, um, how to solve the first problem which I told you about technology. Like, should I go and learn machine learning and then search for an internship in machine learning? What should I do? Like, tell me the answer. So in this case, I would recommend choosing a stack. Either go with web development, Android development, or be a hardcore machine learning engineer. Okay, or be a hardcore cloud engineer. See, man, companies are looking for package. They don't want individual entity. So whenever you go to a company, they are looking for a package. Now, if you can't offer a package, you are obviously not the right fit for them. Okay, but obviously there are scenarios where they are looking for individual experts, but most of the companies and startups, they are looking for package. If you know web development and you know machine learning, that's a plus one. If you just know machine learning, okay, we can consider you, but machine with web, plus one, obviously. So zero down on your tech stack, what technology you want to learn, and how are you going to zero down on technology? You are going to see the current trends, you are going to see the past trends, and you are going to then say that, okay, if I want to learn web development, these are the things which I need to kind of I need to learn Node, I need to learn React, I need to learn a database, MongoDB. Okay, that's quite famous working. Okay, MongoDB. Then what I need to learn, I need to learn machine learning to embed machine learning into my web application. That's amazing. A very good approach. Another approach, okay, I'm fascinated by Android apps, I want to make Android apps. Okay, the basic underlying infrastructure for making Android apps is you should know Java. Now you know Java, then you learn how to make an Android app using Android Studio, and then you upgrade yourself and then use Bazel and again different tools which are available, and then develop an Android app. Now learn by doing. So in the process, when you're learning technology, make projects. Okay, I believe it's like 2020 now, and no one is looking at your resume top down. They are looking at your projects. Okay, so even if again, it's like if you are going for a job, if you have projects already there, I don't even look when I hire interns. I don't even look at their resumes. I just look at their GitHub profiles, or if they have private GitHub profiles, I'll tell them to share about what they have kind of made projects, and that's okay. That's okay as well. Okay, so that's one answer of understanding tech. Now, which company to go for? Now, these are some top 50 companies, okay, which are there in the world. So everyone wants to work at this top 50 kind of company, okay. Now, the top 50 innovative companies, okay. So now, should I go to careers page of Google, Nvidia, Intel, and apply there? And obviously you're going to get rejected most of the time because you don't have that amount of background, or you don't have that amount of portfolio which you have built as of now, because you are just a beginner in the technology. So I would like, if you ask me, like, what should I do? Should I apply at Google or should I apply at a startup? Okay, which is like because like in initial days, okay, I'm not telling you that startup is better than Google, obviously not, but at starting point of your career, you should make decisions which is going to put you under a situation where you learn every day. Okay, and you kind of and at the same time you are accepted into the program, because if you're not they are not accepting you, then again it's of no use, right? Now everyone wants a job at Google, but Google is not accepting everyone, right? So know your kind of boundaries, know your like the path. Okay, I want to work for Microsoft after 5 years, so, or after 3 years, so what should be my pathway? What should I be doing now? Okay, I'm good at technology, so I should join a startup, I should focus on Microsoft technologies, and then I can I can kind of go and join Microsoft. Okay. Now most of these companies have internship programs. Facebook has internship program, Intel has internship program, Google has internship programs. Okay. Microsoft has internship programs, but at the same time, uh, they don't select a lot of people. Okay. So in India, I guess Microsoft last year selected around 40 to 50 people across different states for winter internships, and same happens with around the clock. Now within 1.3 billion people, around 400 million students are there, and in that 400 million students, they are selecting like bunch of them, 100 200, so where others will go. So that's why you need to be, kind of aware of your boundaries, that okay, what technologies you know, how you are learning them, how you're progressing them, what applications you're making. And then you can aim for a company, that okay, this company I want an internship at the end of this year, next year, or set your goal, and then you start working towards cracking the interview for that company. Now I have given interviews at Google as well, so I'll share you my experience. It's like 3 to 4 steps process, I guess. Yeah, four step process. I have given 4 rounds. Yeah, the first round was resume screening. So you upload your resume, they will screen your resume, and then they will send you a link to the second round. Now, if you are applying for software developer roles, they will give you problem statements, competitive programming mostly. So again, if you are opting for AWS, like Amazon or Microsoft or Google, competitive programming is one of the basic things which they require. So they will. So Google has 2 questions of competitive programming and 15 MCQs, and then the next round was telephonic interview, and then the next round was in-person interview. So this is how it goes on. But again, you need to kind of understand that if that is my goal, how am I going to achieve it. Now I was able to kind of crack 3 4 interviews at Google just in the resume screening round. Okay. And all and I was giving parallel interviews like here and there. Okay, then I realized I want to do something of my own, so I backed off. So something like this. Zero down on a single company. um, Once you zero down on a single company, then there's an interview process. Now top companies, they don't kind of have bad interview processes. They are good. The interview is also good, it's amazing. But I have also got interviewed at a lot of startups when I was very starting in my career in diploma days. And most of them, I when I see this meme, right, and then they told me your unpaid internship will give you plenty of valuable experience, which a lot of people say that if you are kind of looking at an internship, I'm not going to pay you, but you're going to get a lot of experience. It doesn't really happen that way in most of the cases. Yeah, there are some exceptions, but again, it's most of the times that if you're not paid at an internship, you might not gain much out of it. So you should analyze the situation. Okay, so for example, I have few students who worked in Reliance for 6 months internship period. Okay, they were not paid a penny. They did it for free. You can say that, yeah. But at the same time, what they learned to handle end-to-end project systems. They learned how it actually works in real world. They got a letter from Reliance Communications that okay, this is how this is what he worked on for 6 months. He got a letter of appreciation as well, which actually summed up all the things which he did in 6 months. Okay, and that was something which is good. Okay, that is totally tolerable. That okay, you did it for free, but your 6 months were it was properly credited. You learned a lot, and then now you know a lot of stuff, and you know how the companies works. So that is like okay. But again, working for a company which is not giving you even proper mentorship, or not able to kind of assign you a team leader, or kind of give you proper mentorship, then it's a no. You should not join this company. Okay. Now obviously I don't pay my interns most of the times, and you will tell me that okay, I also fall under that category. But yeah, when I kind of hire them, I clearly say them, okay, you're not getting any money. If you're here for an experience, this is for you, else it is not for you. Because in 3 months time, he will bring down that value which we actually provide. So again, it depends on company to company. There are some companies who would pay you massive amount of money, but again, you won't get any experience as well. So it totally depends on. So you need to analyze the situation. That okay, if this company is offering me this much amount of money and this is the kind of work which I'll be doing, should I join it or should I not join it? Okay, you should be choosy. You should not be like, I want an internship. Anyone who is offering an internship, I will go and I will get that. No, you should be choosy here, because if you are cracking an interview, that means you are worth it. Okay, you have cleared the first screening round, and then you can get shortlisted in other companies as well. So you need to be choosy here, that okay, what value I'm getting in that 3 months time, if it's free or if it's paid, is it really helpful for my career? Now, when I see a lot of people who apply for internships at my startups, I see them, their LinkedIn profile, and they are like, I am a founder, I'm a hustler, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a deep thinker, and I'm a poet, and there are so many kind of descriptions and titles you will find. And on LinkedIn, obviously on LinkedIn, not in real life, obviously. And then this guy who is a founder, he is kind of coming to me and asking for an internship. Now that's kind of not the kind of profile which I'm looking at. Okay, as a student, right, you are like LinkedIn is the most misused platform. I can say that. Okay, and this is because of people listing themselves that they work at Google or they work at kind of XYZ organizations, and then they ask for an internship on a DM. So that is like totally insane, that if you are a founder yourself or an entrepreneur yourself, then why do you need an internship? Or if you I'll address this problem in such a way. So I'll assume that they don't know. Okay, let's give them the benefit of the doubt that they don't know. So you should always be in a like it should be like I'm not getting the right example or the right word. You can say it like steps. Okay, once you get on level 1, you should go to level 2. Once you get on level 2, you should go to level 3. Okay, now if you are on a level 3 and you come back to level 1, then this doesn't make any sense. Okay, because you already passed that, you already have that experience, you already have that skill set with you. Now if you're coming back to the start and then asking for an internship which you already with like similar internship which you already did, then this doesn't really make any sense. Okay, so a classic example of this could be, I'm an ambassador at IIT Bombay, I'm an ambassador for IIT this, I'm an ambassador for this, I'm an ambassador for that, and I'm an ambassador for different 20 different brands. Okay, now that doesn't sound like a perfect profile to me, because if I'm hiring you, I will be like, man, this guy is a lot of ambassador roles. So if my company has an ambassador role, I will definitely hire him in for that. But for job, sorry. Okay, simple. That's how it works. You should keep your profile uh, maintained properly. Okay, same with research. Okay, so if I'm paper and I'm publishing a bad paper, that is going to be there on my name forever. So that's why you won't see me publishing papers, because I'm like not into research. So the same logic applies into your resume. Okay, that what things you're going at, what you're doing, and then when you're coming back from company A to company B, what kind of opportunities you are seeking for. So it could be what could be the ideal position then. Okay, you worked for an ambassador position for a XYZ organization. You worked for 2 3 organizations. That's amazing. The third step should be, or the second step should be, now you should be looking at citywide role. Okay, you are good ambassador, good. Okay, now what next? Next is city level role. Should I be you should be the manager of the city, where you handle the ambassadors. State level roles, country level roles. Okay, that's how it should work. Else you being just an ambassador for 10 different brands, and every semester you change that ambassadorship to different organizations, doesn't really make sense. Okay, that is a negative point on your profile. Definitely a negative point. Yeah, so clearing this point. Okay. Again, if you ask me what company should I prefer, I will always say a startup over Google as well in initial days, because even if you are able to, my experience with them was also similar, where startups gives you a lot of like experimentation mode, which you will never get at any organization which is big. Why? Because they have protocols, they have rules, they have their own kind of organization structure. But if you talk about startup, you can fail, you can kind of do whatever you want, and you're not an intern there, you're a full-time job kind of, you're doing a full-time job there, because they are going to give you task which is kind of which is like a job only. It's not going to be more like an internship. And you will ask me that why are you telling me that if it's a hectic job, like hectic internship. I will like, I still recommend it, because in initial days you can work out, man. Like working 6 hours 7 hours a day is not a big deal. And at the same time, if you are getting so much out of it, like when I worked initially for 2 3 startups, like if you talk about my training career, so I'm a trainer, and I have traveled to 38 cities in India and delivered like more than 150 sessions. Now if you ask me how my journey of trainer started, it was back in diploma. And what was the money I was getting? I will share you a quick summary of it. Okay, so I was good at C programming and C++ programming. I was very good at it because I was practicing it every day. So I was very good at it. People didn't knew how to make classes and all. I was, able to kind of make structures and kind of, able to solve DSA problems. So there was a guy, I approached him. I was like, I want to teach people. So he gave me an opportunity in a startup, and I won't name it obviously. So I joined it as an intern, and I was teaching students. Okay. Now I was teaching 5 to 6 students, and I was getting paid 500 rupees per session, and one session was of 3 days. So each day I used to teach them for 8 hours, and 8 hours into 3 days, and I was getting 500 rupees at the end of the day. Okay, at the end of the cohort. Okay. Now that was not even the traveling cost. The traveling cost to coming there and coming back was more than that. Okay, and obviously you eat lunch and all that. So that was like something like that. Okay, but that gave me so much of confidence because I failed a lot. I did mistakes. I was stammering. I was not able to kind of put attention to all the students who were there in my class, and the review was not good. So again, I was failing, and because I was just getting 500 rupees, so no one was there to shout at me that okay, this is not the way you kind of teach students, because they knew they were just paying 500 rupees to me. So yeah, but after 2 months and 3 months, I was able to kind of I was proficient in C++. I was delivering sessions, and I cracked an opportunity to deliver a session for 100 students. And for that also, I was not paid more than 1500 rupees for, I guess, 2 days. Yeah, it was a 2 day seminar, again 8 at 16 hours. Okay, so because that was kind of like an investment, a time investment. Okay, and that was a good experience. So after that, I started my own startup, and I started giving trainings, and it grew to like very big. So as of now, it's like expanded into so many different cities. So that's why I prefer startups. Why? Because if this guy never gave me an opportunity to work with that students, again, the money was very it was negligible. But at the same time, if I didn't get that first hand opportunities to work with students in the first place, I would have never been what I am today, because that experience really shaped the whole training career of mine. Okay, so again, there are many internships where people tell you to get coffees and all. Now that is like out of respect, or you can say it totally depends on the number of people. Or I also do this. Okay, tell my interns to kind of complete my assignment sometime. But it's totally like how you take it, because most of the times when I find people doing mistakes, for example, if my intern is doing a lot of mistake and I'm telling him a lot of time that okay, do this, do that, and he's not listening, he's in his own kind of environment, then he gets a similar punishment. Okay, where he will write something, or he will kind of go around, or just come and sit in the office. Okay, now yeah, that's the scenario which I follow strictly, because if you are into an internship, you should give 100% of it, else you should not join it. Simple. But again, most of the startups, they kind of keep you as a housekeeping boy, but read the description first. Okay, whenever you're joining a job or an internship, because again description matters. So yeah. Are human more smarter? Yeah, obviously, because You think you are smarter, the other person is more smarter than you. The guy who is running the startup is more smarter than you. Obviously the guy who is running the startup thinks that you are smarter than him. So it's a infinite loop where everyone thinks that, I am the smartest person in the room. But that turns out to be ugly sometimes, and that comes onto your ego many times, and then that's why people kind of tend to treat interns like trash, or most of the times interns in return kind of speak trash. So that's happening everywhere. So you need to be sure that whatever environment you are in, the environment is full of positivity. Like in our environment, I believe, like, we play games, board games so much that when the lockdown was happening, before that 2 weeks we were just playing board games. Okay. And all of them, all the interns, and I was also joining them, and we were playing just board games. Okay, not doing any work. Okay, just because we were like, okay, let's have fun. And then the lockdown happened. Cool. But again, uh, treat humans with respect. Obviously, if you are an intern yourself, make sure that you're respected in the organization properly. If you're not, if you are a guy who is hiring interns, make sure that they are respected properly. And um, coming back to the point of smartness, this is like and never ending loop where people kind of treat themselves as smarter, or so this becomes ego, and then ego becomes xyz factors, and then it goes on and it goes on. That's normal human behavior, so you should kind of just let it go. Don't kind of hold it for a very long time. um, Coming back to one of the points which I discussed earlier, which was like about the stack or the levels, level 1, level 2, right? So this is one of the scenarios where your job is totally going to be replaced at some point of time. So you need to be very sure that you are learning and upgrading yourself. Else, even in an internship, even so, if you know that Tata, TCS, okay, they have internal exams for their employees, so that they get promotions and they are in the company for a very long time. So they have internal exams, so that they have to complete that course, give that exam, and then they can kind of get the promotion. So time is moving, technology is changing, IT field is very dynamic. Every moment there is something which is coming new, and something which is getting deprecated. So you should be very familiar, you should upgrade yourself on a daily basis. This is also another example that like technology is upgrading, everything is upgrading, so you should be upgrading yourself. Because there was a similar scenario where you wanted to become an ML engineer, but now there are a lot of auto ML scenarios. So now what will an ML engineer do? Simple. Some of the insights from the market. So hottest job currently is application development analyst, machine learning engineer, backend developer, full stack engineer, data scientist. Again, see, digital marketing is also one of the amazing jobs out there, and I really kind of think that digital marketing is going to be like one of the top jobs within next 2 years, because most of us are getting digital. People are coming on internet. The penetration on internet is increasing day by day. People are getting access to smart devices, so they are going to buy stuff. They are going to companies are going to need marketing. So this is one of the fields which I feel is going to grow a lot more than what it is today. Again, big data, sales is also one of the best fields which I have came across. And I can tell you that sales is one of the best things. Like everyone is a salesperson, but they don't kind of you don't really like salespersons, again, because if you're making a friend, you're pitching yourself, and that's how everyone is a salesperson. But again, this is one of the very interesting jobs. Yeah. So that's how it is. Yeah, I told about this as well, that computing jobs which are going to rise, but the number of grads which are available now is not going to fulfill that. And this is because of the skill set which people have. So if you see, Google has launched a Google IT support certification. Now there was no need, right? You think that people know how to troubleshoot IT systems, right? So why should launch a 5 course specialization? But I did that specialization and it was amazing. Okay. And it is literally job oriented specialization. So something like that, which is like you do the course and then you can get a job, like, because IT is very easy field. So yeah. So I sum up my story of being a startup like being a startup. This is the view from my office in Lower Parel, which is obviously my office since I haven't bought it, but it's on rent. But again, it's a 19th floor. It was there. I hired this when I was like 3 years back when I was in final year of my diploma. Okay, and that was because I did 2 3 internships and I was very familiar with the training work and all. So yeah. So that's all for the internships kind of things. If you are looking forward to join some programs which could help you to get internships or brush up your skills, there are plenty good programs from these companies like Google, Intel, Microsoft, Progate, and GitHub. So Intel has a program called as Intel Software Innovator, where you can be the part of the testing herd, where you are. But again, this is more of for people who are already familiar with deep learning and machine learning. So you get hardwares you can kind of try your hands on, and then they will kind of give you um, early access to their softwares, and then it will be a very beneficial if you are in deep learning and machine learning. Microsoft has a program called as Microsoft Student Partners, so that will also enable you to kind of develop yourself and be future ready. GitHub has Campus Expert program. It is for open source community. So if you are a very active contributor on GitHub, this program is for you. But they are very selective. I was rejected 2 times. So yeah, this is how it is. If you are aware of GitHub expanded in India, they have new office in India. So make sure that GitHub is going to come up with some programs for India specific region, and they are going to survive. So they are going to kind of bring in some more details. So keep a watch on all this. Okay. DSC is also one of the good programs by Google, but again, know your DSC is kind of walk around with them and kind of develop yourself. Um, Now, if you are thinking that all these programs require, yeah, they require some amount of work done. They are not going to accept you if you haven't done anything yet. So in that case, if you want to just get started where you don't know anything and you want to learn and then kind of grow, then in that case you can apply for GitHub Student Pack, Microsoft Azure, which is Student Pack, which is available. Like you will get $200 per month in your Microsoft Azure account, and you can join IEEE. IEEE is a global community, and I'm a member of IEEE for last 2 years, and it has given a lot of growth overall in my professional career. So yeah, so even when I click the selfie of my last session from IEEE, this fetched me around $300 for 2 selfies. uh, and that was real money. Okay, I got $300 of Amazon coupon, and it's still there. So that's a benefit of knowing things, right? You can also, if you are an IEEE member, you can click a photo and upload it, and you will get that $300, obviously. So that's like summing up my journey with communities over last 3 years. See, I have not done internships at Google or Intel or Microsoft, but I have been part of their programs. And like for Google Crowdsource, I was there for 2 years, and I learned so much from how to be a contributor, the zero level contributor, to managing contributors, to managing cities, to managing states, to managing countries. Okay, so I stayed in, I never traveled outside India, but if like you, I have connections in more than 18 countries. So if tomorrow I want to travel, do a world tour, like I have people around across the globe who are there, who are connected with me and who are influencers. Okay, and that's the level of engagement which I got with Crowdsource program. And then I was part of Intel Innovator program, and that program gave me a good hold in deep learning and machine learning systems with hardware integrations. And then Microsoft Student Partner program, that also gave me a global outreach to different students across different countries, and more about Microsoft technologies and how Microsoft is kind of changing the cloud scenario. And then I developed my own program called Student Connects, and in that I kind of teach students and kind of give them internships, and then take them to different tours and do projects and XYZ. So that's what my journey looks like, summing up everything into this single image. Yeah. So thank you, everyone. You can contact me at this given details. Yeah. Thank you. If you have questions, I'm more than happy to answer your questions right now. Okay. So, okay, we started with 30 and now we have 50 people. Okay, that's a good growth. Okay, which kind of type of project are good? Project which are end to end. So, for example, you can make a clone of a social media website. You can make a clone of Instagram. You can make your own social media website. That is one of the good projects. Um, in terms of machine learning, if you ask me, projects like solving for medical or some local businesses would be a good project. So yeah, that is something which I would definitely prefer when you're talking about projects. Okay, why this is bubbling up? Web development will be step in the race. Yes. Okay. Any more questions? Thank you, Chirag. Yeah. Yeah, sales is one of the. I really like sales because I wanted to be a salesperson. Okay, and I have been a salesperson for a very long time. Like when I was a kid, I used to sell different kinds of perfumes to my peers. Okay, and that's like the entrepreneur journey started from that time. So yeah, sales is very close to my heart. What kind of projects can I work on as a starter in MLAI? As a starter in MLAI, I recommend you working on custom data sets. So build your own data set. Kind of when I'm hiring someone for machine learning internship, I kind of skip people who work on finished or predefined data sets because the data set is already available, right? You just go pick it up and then you start working on that. I don't really kind of like that kind of thing. But if you are collecting your own data set or the data set is hard, so let's say the data set is there is a lot of noise in the data set, it's not very much clean. So in that kind of scenario, I would be more than impressed that okay, this guy who's a starter who's making projects has collected his own data set and worked on solved his custom problem. So that is kind of very much good. Is competitive programming matter in startups? No, zero, zero. You don't need competitive programming in startups. Startups don't really care if you can solve a problem using competitive programming. They care if you can solve a problem or not. Okay. And then later optimization. Yes, optimization plays a major role. But again, competitive programming is a way different approach. And I don't know why companies really kind of prefer it, but startups don't. They don't. They will totally prefer that you make them a website. They are more than happy. Like so, yeah, that's how it works. Which suggestions for media movie development? Sorry, I am not in that field, so I cannot comment in that suggestion. But again, yeah, AR VR is playing a very major role in technology, so you can see movies coming up in AR VR kind of scenario. That would be really great. Which platform were we get the idea for searching for project? So the idea is that the idea of project is not about searching for what project should I make. It should come with the problem statements you see on your daily life. Okay, so tomorrow, so I saw a problem statement that on Elphinstone Road, like a year back, there was a stampede. Now, stampede happened because people panicked and people ran on that, foot over bridge, and then panic happened and then it collapsed. Okay. Now, we could have prevented that, and a simple scenario was an alert system which could have detected an anomaly and could have informed the authorities that people are panicking on the station and please stop the next trains or something, do something, or just warn the people that if you don't stop, there is going to be stampede. So now this is a problem statement. Now I developed a system which would actually detect that, where there are a lot of people and a lot of movement. You can actually use machine learning and say that there is a possibility of stampede. So now this is a kind of a problem statement, and then I came up with a problem solution, and then I developed a project according to it. Okay, so that should be your inspiration about the projects. Okay, that okay, this is a problem statement, and this is what I can do. Simple. Which suggestions? What are the opportunities wherein programming is not considered the only aspect? Cloud is one of the major things. So remember this. Chirag is also there in the call, so I'll say this that machine learning might come and might go. Okay, web development might come and might go. Android might come and might go, but cloud is there. Okay, so till then, data is there, cloud is there. Cloud is there. It was there forever, and it will be there forever. Why is it? Because cloud is one where you are actually kind of, if you are taking your system to people, you need cloud. Okay, you need storage, you need compute. So yeah, that's it. That is something which is which is zero coding as well. So you don't need so much of programming, but it works. Now, freshers should be selective for fields for internships or liberal with respect to fields. I would say you should kind of focus on different fields. You can do so. There is no restriction of sticking to one. You can experiment as much as you want, because if you're not experimenting, then that is going to be a bad. Because this is the time when you are when you can experiment. Because if you're a student and you are a beginner and you are just starting your journey, then this is really the time when you can experiment. So try to be very open with the choices you make in terms of fields, in terms of technologies, because even if you fail, you have plenty of time to improve and come into market again. But if you're doing that on a later stage, that is a very difficult thing. Okay, because at a later stage you're already settled into a technology, and it will be a lot of a not so good approach to get out of that and then start learning everything from scratch. Will the trend of AI ML taking human jobs intensify after Corona? I would say that most of the people who are actually kind of seeing their job lost because of Corona is because the company is not making money. And obviously people are going to rethink how remote jobs work, or how people are going to work from home, because this scenario was never happened, right? Earlier we never knew that something like this could happen, and we might stay at home forever. So like people would be thinking from a different angle, companies would be thinking from a different angle, and it might take a toll on job. Yes, it might, obviously. So yeah, but again, AI has proven a lot of helpful. AI has proven to be helpful in terms of getting medicine to COVID, and getting the protein structure and the DNA structure of the COVID-19. So yeah, it is helping, but at the same time, you can say that it is going to take a role of your jobs. How to start with open source? Open source, starting with open source is very easy. Um, Make a project, GitHub, get familiar with Git, uh, version controls, and then go to GitHub, find some projects which you're already familiar with. For example, I did my first contribution in Dialogflow repository. So the official Dialogflow repository sample, and the contribution was not much. The contribution was so this guy made it was a webhook. So whenever you're making a chatbot and you want to add extra features which are not available within the platform, you need to make a webhook so that you can call an external entity. So in that case, this guy made a webhook, and it was deployable on Heroku only. So I wanted to deploy it on Google Cloud Platform. So I learned it and I deployed it. But then I thought that I should contribute that to the repository, so that if anyone else want to do it, how will he know? So what I did was I wrote that 4 commands which can be used to deploy on GCP. I add that deploy on GCP button, and then submitted that as an issue, as a new feature, and he accepted. So that was like starting out with open source. Now I contribute, I make my own courses, I share that on my GitHub. So you can also kind of go there and have a look and kind of see it. Yeah. It's totally about grabbing a technology and then working in that technology, and then going and finding open source projects and contributing to them, or using your own projects and open sourcing them. So that's all about open source. GSOC is a very good competition where you should participate. So yeah, that would give you a very good kickstart. Thank you, Chirag bhai. Thank you, everyone. What is the basic requirement needed to start a DSC? So there shouldn't be a DSC in your college if you're starting a DSC. If there is already a DSC, you should collaborate with them. For MSP, there is no requirement kind of as such. You need to answer 3 questions: what, why, how. What makes you eligible for the program? Why should you be selected for the program? How are you going to promote the technology in your campus? So these 3 things. Okay. Now I'm sharing 2 URLs which will be helpful for you. So you can contact me if you want mentorships or anything. So this is the URL where you can contact me. So I'm going to share it in the chat itself. So t.me. So this is my channel where you can kind of get update about my sessions, upcoming sessions, or you can get update about the different all the news around different companies. So you can join here. It is a Telegram channel, and I send all the updates there. So if you wish to, you can join here. Okay, so let's start with the quiz. Organizers, you're ready? Hello. Yeah, this is the URL. So you can. Okay, so I'll share my screen again for the quiz. 43 people, 3 goodies. Let's do this. Okay, so the quiz is very generic because I wanted everyone to participate, and everyone wanted, and I wanted it to be easy as well. So the quiz is very generic. So kind of don't blame me for that lame questions. But again, um, I will kind of share it. So okay, so you have to go to kahoot.it on your mobile phone, and you can enter this pen. The pen is 7521784. I'll just paste it. Um, okay, are you able to hear the background noise? Okay. Okay, guys, join fast. We have 25 players here. I can see 14 call. Like, where are others? Okay, so we will start at 30. Come on, we want 30 participants. Okay, we have 27. So see, to explain you how this is going to work. Okay, so I'm explaining how this is going to work. You will have a question popped up on the screen. On your mobile phone, you will see only 4 options, and there are 4 colors. Okay, so you need to select the right color with the matching option, which is available here on the screen. Okay, so yeah, that's how it works. So it's handy if you have a desktop and a mobile, because then like, yeah. Okay, so let's start. I guess 29 players. Anyone joining? Should I start? Anyone joining? Okay, should I start, Parth? Okay, starting one. Okay, here we go. Oh, here we go. Epoch timestamp starts from which year? So whenever you are adding a timestamp, it starts from which year? Oh, you guys don't use Excel, or do you? So timestamp, whenever you are kind of starting a timestamp, it starts from 1970, not 2000. Okay. Next question. Let's see the leaderboard. Shreya is on the top, followed by Devjit and then Yash. Next question. Here we go again. What is Python? Okay, so I can know the frustration of this one guy who select worst friend you can ever have. Else it's a programming language, and so all are right answers. There's no wrong answer to this. Let's see the leaderboard. Okay, Shreya on the top. Next question. Here we go. From which number does the index start? It starts from 0. Index always starts from 0, not -1 or not 1. Let's see the leaderboard. Okay, Saurabh up. Manish is also up. Yash. Okay, next question. Here we go. What question? What is Google's parent company? It's Alphabet. ABC is not. It was also called as ABC, yes, but it's not ABC. It's Alphabet. Like legally, it's Alphabet. Okay, next question. What is Dijikra's algorithm? You don't have to code it, okay? Don't worry. So Dijikra's algorithm is to find the shortest route. Okay, if you are an engineering student, this is a must question you should know. Abhinav on the third position. That's good. Shaikh Aditya is also catching up. Next question. Here we go. What is TLDR? So you might have seen TLDR in most of the articles and most of the places, and it is called as too late, didn't read. Okay, it's not too late. No, man, you are so technical. That's why I guess everyone is saying. Let's see the leaderboard. Okay, Aditya second, SRB on the third, Saurabh fourth, and Abhinav on the fifth. Next question. Here we go. Stack Overflow is. Okay, best target game of 90s. Now, most of them answered it right because we use it on a daily basis. Okay, top leaderboard didn't change. Next question. Here we have the eighth question. What is ML? Okay, it should be mother's love, obviously. No, it's machine learning. Next question. Here we go. Okay, Arch is timing the leaderboard. Next question, ninth question, which is not a design paradigm. HTML CSS is not the design paradigm. It's like human interface is one, material design is one UI is one of them. Okay. I guess the leaderboard is going to shuffle. Okay, Saurabh is on fires. Saurabh has a last question to hit on the top. So he should answer it within 3 seconds to be the first one. If not, in 5 seconds to be the second or the third one. Next question on the screen. Here you go. Spot 1, 2, 3, 4. How can you do a mistake here? This was not even a question. This was like just using your cognitive senses to spot 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's see the leaderboard. Did Saurabh make it? Yes, no. People on chat. No. Okay, let's see. So I'll leaderboard. Who's the third one? SRB is third. Now what's the full form of SRB? Yes, Saurabh made it to the second. Shrey. So here we have our winners.
Okay.
Oh, Saurabh is
very interesting game from the Mr. Ali Mustafa said.
Okay, you want a screenshot of this?
Was the top 3 players Saurav and SRB?
Yeah. So
can we please the name of the SRB? Who is the SRB?
SRB Saurabh Chogle. Because there is Saurabh Soni already.
Okay.
So he's Saurabh Shore. Okay, sorry, Chogle. Sorry. Okay. He's from Datta Mege Airoli, Mumbai.
Okay, Saurabh Shore. Okay. And
second is Saurabh
very
Tegle.
informative session by Mr. Ali Mustafa. Thank you for the Thank you for the give your precious time how to thank you to make success and grant. Stay home, stay safe.